Hey, how are you doing? It is Wednesday night and it is really late. I just took a shower. I did not wash my hair. I wash it every other night because that seems to work best with my hair or whatever. And I just put this stuff on my face. It's from Farmhouse Fresh. It's called Wine Down. And I've had this for a while, but I'm just now getting around to trying it. It's an overnight super antioxidant recovery serum. And it has like grape extract or something. It smells just like candy. It's really nice. I like it. It's not greasy at all. Oh, hey, pumpkin. I love the way it feels, but I just put this on and I'm going to see I'm going to try it for a while. I'm sorry, pumpkin. I got to tell a story. I got to talk about the lady that tried to come at me with a box cutter. So I was going to tell you this story. And it's not terribly long, and several people have already mentioned that I've told this story before. I don't know how much detail I went into with this story, but this was not an alleged thing. This was a thing that really happened to me when I was 21 years old. Okay, this is my bedtime story for you, because I'm going to tell the story, and then I'm going to brush my teeth and finish putting all the layers of stuff on my face, and then take my vitamins, and I'm going to hell to bed, because I got to get up and go to work in the morning. Whew. But I wanted to tell you this story before I go to bed, okay? Oh, and before I start, I want to say, this is funny because on this little channel, every video I have done, my top performing videos on this channel are all demonetized because they deal with either sensitive subjects or whatever, and YouTube said you can't monetize this shit. So this video will not be monetized either. Two things about that. Number one, if you get ads on this video, will you tell me? Because I can't do anything about it. I don't think you should. I mean, if it's demonetized, they shouldn't be putting ads on this video. I would just be curious to know if anybody sees any ads anywhere in here. Just like informal research. I just want to know, because I know personally I have watched videos that I know were demonetized and I saw ads. So I just wonder how that works. Like, why are you putting ads in a video that's demonetized? I guess they can do it. I guess YouTube can just do whatever the hell they want to do. This video will not be monetized either because it discusses violence, even though there was not any actual violence as far as like, hurting me or anything. But, okay. So that's the first thing I wanted to ask. If you see ads, will you please tell me? And if you see ads on my video that I made about being a CPS worker, being in a cult, or having an eating disorder, because all of those are demonetized. Those are my top videos for this channel, is talking about those things. And they are all demonetized because YouTube said, you're not monetizing this. So I don't make any money off those ads or those videos. So the second thing I wanted to say is, if you like my channel, if you enjoy what I do, will you do a nice thing? When you get a chance today, tomorrow, whenever, if there is a nice thing that you can do, I ask you to please do it. Like pick up a piece of trash and throw it away, or help somebody get something off the top shelf in the grocery store, or what you see somebody like, I don't know, like an elderly person putting groceries in their car and you offer to take the cart back to the store, or I don't know, like sweep somebody's driveway. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't have to cost anything. Just do a nice thing. And because there are not enough nice things in the world. We need more positivity. We need more good things in the world. So just go do a nice thing for somebody. I don't know. Pet a stray dog or something. I don't know. Please do a nice thing. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to tell you my little story about my ex-fiance's wife coming at me with a box cutter. All right. Now, let me just start by saying, when I was 16, I was engaged. And I've thought about showing y'all a picture of this guy, but I don't know if I should. I'll just describe him for you. Okay? I lived a very different life back then. I was really at a crossroads, truly, with this guy when I was a young, stupid person, engaged to this guy, okay? So when I was with him, my life could have gone this way or that way. It was like there was no in between. You were either going this way or that way. And really, it depends on whether or not you stay with this guy. Now, do you remember from Charlie Brown? Do you remember Snoopy's, was it his cousin or his brother? It was like a really skinny version of Snoopy, and he had like a mustache, and his name was, shit, what was his name? He was from Needles, California. And I am now blanking on his brother's name. And I know you're screaming it at me right now. Crap, what was his brother's name? I can't look it up because I'm making a video. He was from Needles, California. Spike? Was it? I'm thinking of Spike. Pumpkin, was it Spike? She's just, it's thundering outside and it's freaking her out. We're having a bit of a thunderstorm right now. I think his name was Spike, and he was from Needles, California. Anyway, he looks like the human version of Spike, but with tattoos and long hair. Okay, he was my fiance when I was 16. Now, I was taking all the college prep classes in school. I was very not like that. But I loved him. I love him. Oh, you couldn't say anything bad about him. I would be very angry. I was very defensive. Don't you say that about him. He is an artist, okay? He is a musician. You are not supposed to understand him. You couldn't understand him. The way his mind works, he's a genius. No, he's a fucking bum is what he was. But I couldn't see it then because I had my love goggles on or whatever, and I was blinded by love because I was an idiot. I feel like, and I would say this to his face right now. I would say it to his damn face if I ever saw him, and I'm not looking for him. I don't want to see him, but if I did, I would say this to his face. You did not deserve the love I had for you. You did not deserve it. Because it short-circuited something in me after I decided to get away from him. And I never felt that way. I have never felt that way for anyone else my whole life. And I feel like I wasted it on him. And I'm still mad about it. But that has nothing to do with the box cutter wielding person. All right. So anyway, I'm just telling you all that to give you a little backstory. Okay. My freshman year of college. Okay, let me tell you. We'll call him, what we call him? We'll call him Spike, because he kind of looks like Spike. So Spike dropped out of school at 16. He was in and out of jail. He actually went to prison for a little bit. I don't remember what for. I want to say it was like grand larceny or something. So he was constantly breaking the law, constantly in and out of jail, in and out of court, in and out of trouble, lived with his grandma in the basement of her house. He lost his license. Did he lose his license? I feel like he lost his license for something. And he had a car at one point. He had totaled it. He had no car. He had no license. And he had no way to get around except to get rides or walk. She lived on the edge of town, so if he ever wanted to go into town, he would either borrow her car and drive with no license, or he'd get a ride, or he'd walk. All right. So that's Spike. Yeah, he's a real winner. You definitely want to hitch your wagon to somebody like that, buddy boy. I met him because, okay, my home life was not great. Things at home were tense for a number of reasons that don't matter here. So I was always looking for a reason to not be home. Now, I did have a job after school, and then we lived in the middle of nowhere, and all there was to do was to go out into the woods and drink and party. That's all there was to do. So that's what every young person did. You know, we went out in the woods, we had our spots, and we would cruise around town, and you would meet up with people. Now we didn't have cell phones and stuff like that, and no internet or anything. So we would meet up and, oh, we're going out to this place, that place, and we knew where all the places were, and you try to find out where the party is on a Friday or Saturday night, if there is one. And I met him going out to these parties and stuff. And I always thought he was kind of cute. I mean, I knew him in middle school, and I thought he was cute back then. And, he actually, when he was younger, he was, I don't know. There was just something about him. It was very appealing. He had blonde hair and the prettiest green eyes. Oh, my God. He was just, I don't know, man. He just did it for me. So, anyway, I was smitten with him, and we started dating, and I fell so damn hard for him. So anyway, I got through my freshman year of college, and the plan was, and we had talked about this, and I realize now it was future faking. He wasn't serious about any of it. For my sophomore year, we were going to move back to, he was going to move with me to Wilmington, get a job. we were gonna, live together. I was gonna go to school, and, we were gonna live happily ever after in my delusional 18-year-old mind. So I worked that summer and saved up money. And he did what he always did. He didn't have a job. That was another thing. He was not employed. He lived off money that his grandma would give him, or he might go work for cash for a day or two somewhere to buy some cigarettes or whatever, and beer. And, he just had no ambition. He had no plans for his life. Rock and roll, rock and roll. He was just all, he's stuck in like 1987 basically, and he still is, and that's the sad part. God. So, but 2 weeks before we were supposed to go, he tells me, here's the deal though, I'm not going. And if you want us to stay together, you're going to stay here and not go back to school. If you want to go back to school, you're going without me, and that'll just be the end of us. Long story short, I went back to school, but I was absolutely heartbroken. I cried every day. I literally would plan it. Like, I would get up and I would just bawl my eyes out, and then I would kind of recover and then put my makeup on and go on with my day. And then later that night I would bawl my eyes out again. And I was like that for 3 years. I mean, it really just devastated me that he would do that to me. I was so completely heartbroken over that. I tried to forget about it. I would go out and party every chance I got, for especially my sophomore year. Oh God. Oh my God. I probably consumed more alcohol those 2 semesters than I have for the rest of my life combined. And I would go out and, just it's horrible. I was just trying to forget. I was just trying to not think about it. I wasn't really having all that much fun. I just wanted to get it out of my head for a night, I was miserable. But I was doing really well in school. Everything was great, although I did have an eating disorder that slowly crept up on me. And by my senior year, it had taken over my life. But I was still doing really well in school. I was still working, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, what I didn't know back before I went to my sophomore year, what I didn't know, but I found out later, was that he had been cheating on me with this other young lady. No, she's not so young, actually. I'm not sure how old she is. She's probably at least 7 or 8 years older than me. I'm not going to use anybody's actual name. We will call her Dana. Okay, so Dana, he had been seeing her for quite a while. He started seeing her during my freshman year of college, but I didn't know, and I found out later through a mutual friend. Oh yeah, he was dating her the whole time. You didn't know? Like, no, dumbass. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have stayed with him. Why didn't you tell me then? God. Well, I didn't have your number. Anyway. So, that was why he was fine with letting me go, because he had Dana waiting back there. She was on deck ready to step up and be his lady friend or whatever. Now, Dana's an interesting character. Okay. Dana had a rough life. I mean, I don't want to go into detail about anybody's life. Now, I knew that she had a rough life. She had 3 kids by the time I want to say she had 3 kids at 18. And they were not born at the same time. They were single births. I mean, I think she had her first kid at like 15. Then she had another one at 16. Another one at 17. And she just, I don't know, man. There's just a lot going on there. And I think it was like different guys and, whatever. I'm not making any judgments. I'm just stating a fact. Like, that was Dana's life. Dana had 3 little kids before she was 20. And lived with her mom, or I'm not sure. I think she bounced around a lot. I think her whole life was like that. She had a very unstable life from the time she was little. And Dana had anger issues. Now, Dana, I believe, also spent some time in jail for some crimes and stuff, aggravated assaults and other shit. I don't know. She had some anger issues from what I could tell. I remember watching her stomp a girl's ass in the parking lot of a convenience store. Just over nothing, like just beat the shit out of her, just like with her fist. She has a lot of anger. And I just remember thinking, I want to steer clear of her. I don't want to piss her off. God. So, all right. So I found out that he was seeing Dana. Like, well, yeah, that's that. You know, once I found that out, like a lot of stuff started making sense. Because he would disappear for days at a time. I wouldn't know where he was. I'd be worried sick. He was with her or some other girl or whatever. That's just the way he was. He was not faithful to me at all. He never was. He was always seeing other people. And I was so blinded and so naive that I had no idea. I truly had no idea he was doing that. So, but by the time I graduated from college, I felt like I had gotten over the worst of it was like physical pain, the heartbreak from the ending of what I thought was going to be the rest of my life. Like you were realizing that the life you were going to have is gone. You're never going to have it. It is over. And I didn't know I don't know what to do now. This wasn't supposed to, that's not how it was supposed to go. And I don't know what to do now. I felt like I'd gotten over the worst of that. And I sort of started feeling a little bit more like myself again. You know, I just graduated college. So what I did was, okay, now my mom and dad basically were waiting for me to leave home to split up. I think that's why my mom, looking back, I think that was her main motivator to get me to go to college. She wanted me out of the house because she wanted to divorce my dad. And she told me later she felt like she couldn't do that as long as I was there. And, well, if you hadn't been there, I could have divorced him sooner. Like, well, I'm so sorry I exist. So that's a whole other story. But anyway, within 2 months of me going off to college, they had split up. So here's how that worked. Okay, now when I was growing up, we lived in a little single-wide trailer down on a dirt road. We'll just call it the dirt road. I lived on the dirt road, in a single-wide trailer. That's where I grew up till I was 16. Then, so my parents owned some land that they had bought from my mom's parents, because my grandfather, back in the 50s, I think, bought some land around there. And land back then was super cheap. You could buy land for practically nothing. And he bought like, I don't want to say like 15 acres of land for basically nothing. And he sold 7 of it to my mom and dad, when they moved back here they lived up in Pittsburgh for a while, and then they moved back here because my dad went to school up there for something after he got back from Vietnam. He was in Vietnam from 67, part of 67, part of 68. I think that's right. Mostly 67. So then they lived in Pittsburgh for him to go to school. And then after he finished that, his parents were not doing well, and they moved back here for him to be closer to his mom and dad. And my mom's mom and dad too. So they bought like 7 acres from my mom's parents. So we put that trailer on that property. Now, their house was right up the road on the paved road. Now, right up here was the paved road. The dirt road was long. We were at one end of it. Between the trailer on the dirt road and my grandparents' house on the paved road, when I was 16, they cleared a little bit of land there and put in a double wide. Because my mom was tired of living in that little trailer. We moved up when we moved up on up to the east side, like the Jeffersons. We lived in a double wide. We were fancy as hell. So they put a double wide up there. All right. Well, my mom and dad, but they still had the trailer down there, and it was sitting empty. When they split up, my dad moved back into the trailer, and my mom stayed in the double wide. So that's how they worked it out. And then, oh God, and then my dad got a girlfriend, and that pissed my mom off. And she got really vindictive, and that's when their divorce got really nasty. Oh, I shouldn't spill dirt on that. We won't talk about that. But she would call me up when I was at college, give me all the detail. And I'm like, don't you have a friend you can tell this to? Because I really don't need to know all this. This is uncomfortable. But she would tell me all the details of the divorce and how it was going. And you won't believe what he's doing. He's got a girlfriend. And you know what? I saw them the other day. And she would just tell me all this shit. They walk up and down the road all the time. They know I can see them. And he says they're just out getting exercise. I thought, walk that way down the dirt roads. You don't have to walk past here. She would call and tell me this shit because, like, she didn't have any friends, I guess. Like, why are you? I don't need to know this, Mom. No, how are you? No, guess what he's doing now? Like, oh my God, Mom. Anyway, eventually, now that woman was a bitch. That was my dad's second wife, because as soon as that divorce was finalized, he married that woman. And she looked like, if you look up Miss Prissy from Foghorn Leghorn, she was the human version of Miss Prissy. I hated that bitch. Okay, so, all right. Now, okay, I graduated from college and moved into that trailer because by this point, my dad and the bitch had moved to Virginia, where my dad is now. He bought some land up there, cleared it out, put a new single wide on it, because that's like our default setting in our family. Got a new single wide, put it up there on the side of the mountain, and him and the bitch moved up there. I don't know what happens. I start talking about my past, and like my regional accent just gets stronger, and my grammar just goes out the window. All right. So my dad and the bitch moved up there. So the trailer was sitting empty. And my mom said, well, why don't, after you graduate, you come down here, stay in the trailer, and, you know, just keep it up or whatever. And you can pay me like $50 a month rent, whatever. You know, I'll keep the power on. She was paying for the power or whatever, and the phone and everything. And you just stay there, keep, you know, mow the yard, keep the place up. And you can stay there, because I had gotten a job and I was working to save up some money because I wanted to go back to school the following year at UNCG to finish my English degree. But I took like 9 months off just to work, pay some bills, save up some money, and just kind of take a break from school because I was tired. I was burnt out. So I'm back in my hometown again. Okay. I didn't really tell anybody I was back. Like, I was working 6 days a week, you know, 8 hours a day. And, you know, I didn't feel like going out to party. Plus I was dealing with the eating disorder at this point. I really didn't, I stayed to myself. I was very isolated. I didn't really talk to anybody. So I hadn't told anybody I was there. So I had been staying there for, I hadn't been there long when this happened, because it was in the summertime. So I moved in there, it would have been in May, middle of May, because I graduated in middle of May. So I came straight back, moved into the trailer, fixed it up. Oh, I had it looking cute. I had that little place looking so good. I painted the insides. It had that cheap ass paneling. I painted over all of that, made it look so much better. And I had it looking nice. I worked hard to make that place look really cute. And but I was not well. I was not well. I was under 100 pounds. I might have been maybe 90 pounds at that point. I ate basically nothing. I had a very strict eating regimen, and I took diet pills all day long. And, you know, like I was not well. I was not well. I was at the point where I could walk through a parking lot in public and people would just stare at me. I mean, it was very uncomfortable. But anyway, but I was having a ball. That was the best summer of my life. I've never had a summer that was better. I mean, that was like just the best summer, because I was finished with school for a little bit. You know, I was happy. I was not physically well, but I was happy. And I kept the place up, and, you know, everything. And my mom was right there, and everything was good. I was happy. It was great. Now, I worked second shift, and then one night I came home. Now, keep in mind, like I say, this place is very isolated. It's out in the middle of nowhere. I had no neighbors except for my mom, and then at that point, my grandmother was living. My grandfather had passed away. My grandmother was still up at her place. There were no other houses around. Actually, that's not true. There was another trailer right across the street, right across the road. It was like back a ways. Anyway, that was the only other house. They put that trailer in when I was 13. Up until I was 13, there were no other houses on that road at all. Anyway, So, I mean, you know, in this, you didn't really hear of break-ins or any kind of problems at all. I mean, I never locked my car. I mean, I locked the house, you know. I never locked my car. I didn't care. Like, nobody, well, there wasn't anything in there to take anyway, but I didn't worry about anybody messing with anything. I mean, it was just not something that even crossed my mind, because it's just not something that really ever happened out there. So one night I came home from work, and I would usually get home around midnight, and I came in, and I remember I was really hot and sweaty. I don't remember why, but I just felt sweaty. And I was at the sink in the kitchen. And I washed my face at the kitchen sink, like just splashed some water on my face and just kind of dried it off, you know, with a kitchen towel. And I had this, okay, so you're like at the kitchen sink, you just turn, and there was like a little counter back that way. And I had a rack of cassette tapes sitting on that counter, because I had like a little boom box in the kitchen, and I kept all my cassette tapes on that counter. And I turned around, and I just happened to notice the rack with the cassette tapes was gone. Like, and it was a big rack, and I'm like, where the hell, where are my cassettes? Holy shit. This was the 90s, okay? So where are all my damn cassettes? They were gone. The cassettes, the rack, the whole damn thing was just gone. My boombox was still there. So that freaked me out, because then I'm like, oh my God, somebody's been in here. So then I'm freaking out, like, what if they're still here? So I grabbed a flashlight. I turned every light in the house on. Now, it's a small place, so it doesn't take long to search, but I turned on every light, and I went around looking like, I'll beat them with this flashlight if I have to. There wasn't anybody there. No other signs of anything being disturbed or taken, just that. Like, that's just weird. Why would somebody take that? Shit. That was all my music except for the couple of cassettes I had in the car. And I was pissed, man, because I was like broke. I don't have money to replace that. Shit. So that bothered me. So then I was kind of wary, but I thought, I don't know, like, who would have done that or why? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to do. I didn't report it. It didn't even occur to me to call the police and report it or anything. I mean, I don't know what they would have done anyway. So a few nights later, it might have been like 2 or 3 nights later, I was at home, and I had just dozed off to sleep. I was on the couch in the living room, and the TV was on, and I had fallen asleep on the couch. And I did that a lot. Sometimes I would go back in the bed. Most of the time I slept in a back bedroom. I had a back bedroom back there. But this one night I had fallen asleep on the couch watching TV. And, oh God, I don't know, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. Somebody starts banging on my front door. Now, the door on this house was very, very old. It was not the original door that was on the trailer. It was a wooden door that had come off a really old house. This door was so old, it had no nails or screws. It was held together by wooden pegs. And this door was warping. Like, I could see, like, she was kicking. Well, I didn't know who it was. I knew it was a woman. I could hear a woman screaming, open the fucking door. I'm going to beat this fucking door in if you don't open the door. And she's kicking it so hard, it's like warping in. And I'm going, and all I could think at that moment, I mean, I'm just confused, like disoriented. I'm thinking, my mom will kill me if I let her destroy that door. Because that door is like 100 years old. If she destroys that door, my mom will kill me. So I opened the door, and she came in, and it was my ex-fiance's wife. It was Dana. He had married her. And she came in waving a box cutter around. And I still remember, do you ever just have a moment in life that is just so surreal? It's like, this is not real. And I wasn't even that scared because it was so bizarre. It was like I was watching a weird movie or something. Like, this isn't real. I'm dreaming this, or there's no way this is real. So she came in, and she is screaming and yelling and telling me she's going to kill me. And she has the box cutter with the little thing, the blade out, and she's doing like this. And she's like acting like she's going to stab me with it. And okay. The first thing that occurred to me was stay calm. Stay calm. Sit down. and make yourself as small as possible. I mean, these are just thoughts that just, it was like something speaking to me, not literally, like I didn't hear a voice or anything. But you ever just have a moment where you feel like something is guiding you, like, sit down, be calm, be as small as you can be. Just be small and still and calm. Let her talk. Just be quiet. So that's what I did. She is just beside herself. She was in a rage. She wanted me to react. And I think it's a good thing I did not. So I sat back down on the couch. I had my knees drawn in, and I just made myself as small as possible. And I'm just watching her, and I'm listening to her, and I'm just letting her get it out. Like, and she's still got the box cutter, man. She is just like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. You bitch. And I'm like, okay. Where is he? And where is he? Where is he? I know he's here. I know Spike's here. And I'm like, he's not here. The fuck he's not. You tell me where he's at. I said, you are free to search this house. Go to any room in this house you want to go to. He's not here. He has not been here. So she did. She went and looked in every room. I know he's been here. Like, he has not been here. Nobody's been here but me. Well, I know he's here. And so it took about 20 minutes. I don't know what, I didn't have a clock to watch, but I would say it probably took about 20 minutes of her just ranting and raving about, Spike. And I know you've been fucking him. He's been coming over here. Like, I have not seen Spike in 3 years. Since I left for college for my sophomore year. I haven't seen him since then. I haven't even talked to him. Well, that's a lie, you lying bitch. I'm telling you the truth. I have no reason to lie about it. He's not here. I haven't seen him. I haven't had any contact with him since we broke up 3 years ago. So I tried to stay calm. I answered every question she asked me. I tried to stay as calm as I could. My voice was shaky because I was scared. I didn't know what she was going to do. And she finally, after about 20 minutes, started to kind of calm down a little bit. Like, she was just pacing like a caged animal in front of me. And she's just looking at me, and she's just like, I'm going to fucking kill you. And I tried not to react. Like, just stay small and quiet and calm. Just let her talk. Okay. And I could see she was calming down. Like, this is good. That's better. I was feeling a little bit less terrified. And she's going on and on about, how, we're so happy. And I'm thinking, you don't really sound like you're happy. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking, yeah, I can tell you're really happy. You're saying that through gritted teeth. I don't know if you realize that. Again, I didn't say that out loud. I'm just thinking, you look really happy at 3 a.m. in my living room, waving a box cutter at me. So, yeah, we're going to have a baby. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, congratulations. Don't you think that's great? Yeah, I do. Congratulations. Yeah, we're having a baby together. Him and me and Spike, we're having a baby. I'm having his baby. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. That's awesome. So, I don't know. I think she was trying to, get a rise out of me. Like, I genuinely didn't care. Like, that's cool. All right, how many have you got now? Like, 27 kids? I don't know. So she was trying everything she could think of to try to get a rise out of me, and it didn't. But I realized that's what she was doing. That was probably the first time I ever used my psychology degree, but I don't even know that I used that. It was just like common sense. Like, this was just instinct. Don't bite. She's just trying to piss you off. So finally, she was there just about until the sun came up. She was there for about 3 hours. And she started to calm down. She lit a cigarette, and she was ashing on my floor, again, trying to piss me off, into my carpet. She was like smoking and flicking the ashes on the carpet. And then she would just sort of stub the butt out and flick it on the floor, light another one, ashing on my carpet. And like, okay, yes, ma'am. And then, so finally, after about an hour, she did she had on these white denim, I want to say shorts. I don't know if they were long pants or shorts, but I remember she had these white, I think they were shorts, white denim shorts. And she retracted the blade on the box cutter and stuck it in her back pocket. And I really could take a breath. Okay, all right. Okay. And then she finally, like, she looked at me for the first time and she goes, "You are real skinny. Are you on crack or something? What are you on? Why do you look like that?" And I just told her I have anorexia. "No, you don't. Do you? You look like you're on crack. You're so skinny. You need help." But then it was weird because after that, it's like her whole attitude changed. And she started telling me stuff about her past and how she was abused as a child. And like, oh my God, like that explains a lot. I mean, I didn't say that to her, but I'm thinking that explains a lot actually. And I felt bad for her, I really did. Like, that's awful. And I did tell her, I'm so sorry that happened to you. You shouldn't have had to go through that. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And she quit pacing, and then she was like just standing in front of me. She never sat down. But she told me, she said, "Spike just goes off and he's just gone for days." And I said, "He did the same thing to me." And she said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, he's doing to you what he did to me. I know exactly how you feel. And I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to anybody. That's why I say he's not here. But my guess is he's with somebody." And she said, "Yeah, I know. I know he is. And I don't know who. And I haven't been able to figure it out. And I am just so pissed. Because I know that's what he's doing. Because he'll be gone for days. And then when he comes back, he won't tell me anything about where he's been or what he's been doing." But yeah, I went through the same thing with him. And I'm thinking it was you part of those times, but we're not going to go there. And it's like she started to calm down. And by the time she left, it was almost like we'd become friends. It was weird. It was so weird. She drove this little beige, old, boxy Ford Fiesta. You remember those from the 80s? She had a tiny little Fiesta. And she calmed down. She never got the box cutter back out. And she got in her car. Everything seemed cool. She was like, "We're cool. Okay." She didn't apologize for any of it, but she got in her little Fiesta and motored off to wherever she lived. I don't know where they were living, but yeah, so that was my experience with the crazy wife of my ex-fiancé and the box cutter. I know that they were not married long after that. They split up. I don't know what happened to her after that. I think she's still out there somewhere, but I don't keep up with her. And it was like a week later, Spike showed up at my door out of nowhere. "Hey, how you?" Like, oh God. He said, "Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I'm sorry that Dana came over here and, like tried to kick your door in and stuff. I'm sorry that happened. Like, well, maybe you should stay home and not, leave her like that. And it's not cool that you still do that. Maybe you should stay home." "Yeah, maybe I should." Asshole. So he said, "Yeah, Dana's actually the one. I have some cassette tapes that I saw in her car. I think they're yours. Are you missing some tapes?" Like, "Yeah, a whole rack of them." He said, "Yeah, she's got them. They're in her car. Sorry about that." So, "Do you think you could get them back?" I'll try." I never got my tapes back. I never got my damn tapes back. But he said that they were in her car. So I know she was the one that went in my house and took my tapes. So I'm still kind of pissed about that. But anyway, I have to go to bed, but I had to tell you that story before I go to bed. So anyway, that was my experience with my ex-fiance's wife and the box cutter. Nobody got hurt. The door was all right. I checked it after she left. It was okay. But yeah, I didn't report it to the police or anything. And again, it didn't even occur to me to do that. And again, like, they wouldn't do anything to her. So I didn't worry about it. So that's my story, and I'm going to brush my teeth now and get this uploaded so you can enjoy it. So if you enjoyed my little bedtime story about Dana and Spike, please do something nice for somebody. And thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again soon.